Hello there guys and girls, welcome to another tutorial of mine. Today I bring you some knowledge I should have brought you a long time ago, but alas, I was lacking it myself throughout all of these years. How often would I have needed it during scenes like this, that, and these? What I will show you today may sound ridiculously simple at first, and it surely is totally anticlimactic compared to the explosion stuff and car chases I taught you before. But it is a problem many of you might have faced during machinima production. How to make a character get up or sit down on a damn piece of goddamn furniture without them floating around like they're in a zero-G flight. The solution to this is quite simple to the experienced machinima maker, but super counterintuitive to find out about. And I am so glad to share this with you today. The secret in making actors sit down on furniture is to use the animation flag called Disable Root Motion instead of these lame normal ones. And that's about it for this tutorial. Stay tuned and thanks for... Of course, there is much more to discover here, because as you've seen, the character snaps right out of it, and that looks bad on screen. So we're gonna work our way through a practical example. Let's make old man Michael sit down on a bench to think about his past self that he buried, and which Trevor dug out again, but that's not the point here. Your first step is to find the right kind of animation for the job. Actually, you'll need at least 3 animations. One to enter, one to idle, and one to exit. With the search phrase seat, you will find tons of sitting animations. They are all neatly sorted by the type of furniture as well as biological sex, which GTA 5 only knows 2 of. Just like God Almighty. Let's just use the generic male chair men spreading animations here. Although, come to think of it, the elbows underneath are a nice touch during the cold weather. You can then save a base animation as a favorite by pressing B on the keyboard. Rinse and repeat for an enter, exit, and an idle animation. This will make it easier finding them again later on. For the next step, you have to create a task sequence with those animations. If you don't know what a task sequence is, please watch my extensive guide about this topic. You will not regret that. Or maybe you will, because it's an hour long. So let us add the task play animation here. By jumping to the bottom of the list, you will see the most recent favorite animations you just added. At the start of the sequence, you'll of course need the enter animation, which makes Michael sit down. In the flag settings, you pick Disable Root Motion. Back up here, you can also set the duration for this task. Of course, sitting down doesn't take 10 seconds, but more like 1.5 with this animation. Others might be slower, so adjust this value as needed. To make Michael stay put, you add another play animation task. This time you select the base animation and change it to Disable Root Motion Loop to make the animation last forever. That way the duration is entirely up to you, depending on how much dialogue there is or how other events in the scenes are timed. I'm gonna set it to 3 seconds. We can already preview this setup to see that he is actually sitting down correctly with a smooth transition between the animations. Now let's add the third task to make Michael get back up again. Once more, select play animation, but this time pick the exit animation. Set the flag to Disable Root Motion without the loop. The duration is pretty short here at 2.0 seconds or something. Let's preview this again to see the full thing. To spice it up, just add a 4th task for the idle animation we saved as a favorite. You can use the same settings like you did with the base animation and you're fine. But this task can't be at the end, because that's where the exit animation needs to be. So press the left arrow key to move the task up one step in the list. Upon starting the task sequence again, you can see all 4 animations play out in quick succession. Feel free to chain any amount of such idle animations together for maximum variety. Pretty neat, huh?
But wait! There's more!
As you've seen throughout this setup, Michael's position changed over and over again so that he never actually sat on the bench correctly. Also, there were some glitchy jumps in between. Luckily, there are easy workarounds for this. Just add the tasks teleport to position and snap to rotation at the beginning of the whole task sequence. You have to determine all of these values as they fit your scene and then activate the task sequence to adjust them perfectly, especially the position here. That way your actor will always return to the exact same place at the exact same angle before the animations are played out. Let me add another task called Go to Position at the end, so Michael will walk off after getting back up. Just gotta determine the position he shall go to here by pointing the crosshairs at the right spot. And maybe he says something right before standing up, so let's add the task Play Speech. Search for Michael and pick a generic soundbite from his voice catalog.
You know, I was kind of enjoying that.
As a final step to avoid any weird wiggling issues, it is best to disable the collision on the piece of furniture. With all of those things considered, the whole script loops perfectly now, and I could use Franklin as a secondary character to walk into frame and insult Michael. As you can see, there was still a jump between the transitions, but that sometimes happens when you're moving the camera, so it's best to just hold still.
It's your bust ass.
Hey, I was enjoying that.
Now let's preview this once more.
Ugly ass bitch.
You know, I was kind of enjoying that.
However, there is some furniture that can't be selected via Object Spooner, and thereby you can't disable collision on it, like the beds or couches in the online apartments. To demonstrate this, I have prepared a simple task sequence. As you can see, the actor floats above the bed, but when I change the teleport coordinates here, further down on the Z-axis, he will keep floating in the very same place. So instead of disabling collision on the furniture, you can disable it on the character. But it is obligatory to change the actor to frozen in place first, otherwise he will just fall through the ground. Now the true position of the teleport and following animation becomes evident, and you can adjust it by looking at the magic orb. After the character has gotten out of bed, you could add more tasks or animations to the sequence as you wish.
Ah, my golden years.
If you're wondering about the nothing task here, I'm using this to add a small break before the next animation starts. This task is also useful if a play animation task gets bitten by the 0 seconds bug. You can counter it by setting the task to keep running and then adding a nothing task with the desired duration. One more thing, even though you are able to change the starting position of the character with the teleport task, you are not able to move a character around while an animation with disable root motion is playing. The reason for this is because, you know, the root motion is disabled. So neither the manual placement nor the spooner mode will work here until you stop the animation or task sequence for that character. And that's truly about it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it wasn't about the vroom vrooms or the boom booms. Please consider supporting my work on Patreon to get some nice benefits like Discord access, all of my menu maps, or hundreds of behind the scenes videos. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Whanowa, over.